The information, comments, and recommendations contained herein are not within the scope of investment consultancy. Investment advisory service is provided within the framework of the investment advisory service to be signed between the customer and beekeeping institutions, per education companies, non-deposit accepting banks. My comments on this channel are only my personal comments. These comments belong to you. Your financial situation and risk return may not be appropriate. Therefore, no investment should be made based on the information and comments on my channel.
How we completed the week, especially on the stock market side. There are declines on the MTA side again. Gold, which has been making a new record attempt every day for the last week. And silver prices, there is an uptrend in cryptocurrencies again. Has the bull market started? What will happen in dollar assets? And with what developments have we completed the week and what can happen? I will try to interpret the answer for you. The Borsa Istanbul 100 index completed the week with a depreciation of 0.53 points, from the level of 97.77 points, which we will follow in the last weeks. The 10.50 point level was tested 3 times with the band range 9,800 and 10,200 points, but we saw an index that failed to keep above the 10,000 point level. The point level broke to the downside and made a weekly close well. Now our second support level is the 97.50 point level, again 9,750 points, as the critical support level next week. We will be following the level of our expectation on the stock market side in the medium and long term is positive, and there was a question and an answer, and our continuous comments were also on agriculture with debt during the last week. I definitely gave the answer to this question is agricultural commodities, and I predict that the return will be a little higher in 2025 compared to the stock market. I can say that I expect a level of 12,000 points on the index side for the next 6 months, but we consider the possibility of more agricultural commodities in the stock market in 2025. Again, I would like to remind you that I shared my training videos about agricultural commodities from my X account, although the dollar rate completed the week at 34 liters 16 cents, although the dollar index. Since my general expectation on the regressive side is positive in the past week, I do not expect the declines to be permanent, so those who trade in foreign currency or need foreign currency or our friends who use foreign currency as an instrument should pay attention to this side again. Well, I personally do not expect the figures below the 34 lira level to be permanent, 36-38 resistance. Above and the 40 level continues to stand at the forefront as a strong resistance level, especially last week. The movement in the euro-dollar parity was important again. Here is in the 1.11-1.12 band range. Don't linger in this band range, but completed at 11,163 until the end of this year. So for the next 3 months, my expectation in the euro-dollar parity is the 1350 level, that is, 1320 may be 11,350. But I wanted to make it clear that I expect a parity that sees the 13 level and will enter or expect to enter a downtrend again from here. For the last 2 weeks, I have been frequently in my videos. As I have often stated, especially the Fed after the interest rate decision of the 113 level or 113.20 113.50, above these resistance levels are there and can be seen for the next 3 months until the end of the year, but I have often stated that I expect a sharp decline from here again, and my same prediction remains valid, especially to my fellow travelers, as you know that we have passed in the euro-dollar parity. As you know, we were waiting for the 122 level on an annual basis, and he stated that we would exit the 1112 level 3 weeks ago. We had converted the euros to the dollar, they had converted them to the dollar, and on the euro side, I now expect a negative impact in the coming year, especially when the central banks will reduce this interest rate. But the psychological game of maybe the wind again may reverse in 2025, as long as the interest rate increase is experienced, so the euro-dollar quality in the medium and long term. My expectation continues in a negative direction. I think that the investor who holds the euro should reconsider his decision to take new positions in the medium and long term. We went from the level of 1.08 to the percent of the euro we have. We went below the other percent of the euro again. We went below the 122 level again, together with our companions. We do not have the euro at the moment, but we have it. Although it is not the euro, we pronounce the 1.13, 1320 and 1350 band. If these levels come by the end of the year, there is no problem for us. 3 times that we made the right decision on time. Today's ounce price and parity show us that a TL rate completed the week at 38 liters 16 cents, again at a TL rate. I will continue to follow the resistance level of 40 liras, again in this 9-month period, the first place in the dollar-euro race in the 9-month period, the return of the dollar, due to parity in the euro again. We saw that it was slightly lower than the euro ounce gold this week, that is, it rose to the level of $26.80 last week. It declined again with profit sales $26.43. It had declined to the level of 26.58 due and closed the week at 26.58 due in the evening. As you know the position of me and our companions, so this is about you. Our position, which is completely related to us, is the $2,530 level, and the $2,530 level is above the $2,530 level, as the geopolitical tension pricing has started again. Since it started again, it rose from the level of $25.30 to the level of $26.80, but again in the week we left behind, we maintained our dollar position, especially again. I have stated, but to the investor who has gold in his hand, this can be an ounce or gram, wait earlier for the sale, he will make a new record attempt every month, both grams of gold. Both ounces of gold will definitely be corrections from time to time, with these corrections 26.35, 26.15, 25.90, 25.80. I will continue to follow these support levels, but broadband. We can focus on the range and follow the ounce of gold in this broadband range. This ounce of gold in the broadband range has a level of $2.80 below. There is a level of $26.80 above this band. We continue to be faced with an ounce of gold. We will look at October, and we will look at November, and we will say, if it comes, if it does not come to October, it will not come to November, but we do not give up our dollar position at the moment, when we look at it hanging below the $2600 level, and the time we left behind is even up to the $2290 level of gold bullion again last week. So when the labor is up to the level of $3,000, we're already buying a very expensive gold compared to the world. Due to the import ban of $2,000, $3,000 is already a high cost. We make gold costs, we buy gold, and when you consider the value increases in international markets or domestic markets, you did not make costs at these prices. We don't do it, so I and my companions don't do it. I don't know about you, you protect your assets. Continue to protect these assets as small investors. What do larger investors do? In general, he turns $2,000, $3,000 labor into an opportunity. Let's see how much it is. $89 in dollars. $250 is a great number, so $23,000 is up. He considers the $89.2 level as a sale, and turns it into an opportunity. I'm talking about those big investors. I'm talking about investors with 10 kilos or more of gold, and so on. 100 grams, 200 grams, 300 grams, etc. These are the amount of small investors or the amount of 1 kilo of small investors. You decide accordingly. We continue to wait on the sidelines, but you also decide their assets. You don't have a chance to take the positions we have taken. We have medium and long-term plans with our fellow travelers. You can't keep up with this plan, usually we missed it and so on, because most small investors cannot manage that psychology. Our positions do not come to you, you will take the small investor and put them aside. You're going to take it and put it aside. You're going to know the value of the gold you've saved, and you're not going to play it all, because at the end of the year, you know, it's always 9 months, as I've been pronouncing for 9 months. Up to the level of $2,600 to central bank's $2,600 to $3,000 a gold price. That price is the risk of war will continue on its way. Let's see if the US Federal Reserve will it continue a series of rate cuts as expected, or as it says. I personally think that there is a big bubble there in December. It will become clear what that is November 5. Let's see the American elections after that. We will clearly see who is plotting what. Of course, when we see the level of $26.80 on the ounce gold side, grams of gold ounces. It followed the gold and rose to the level of 27.80 liras. Both ounces of gold and grams of gold broke the all-time record currently. On the physical gold side, gram gold in the closed bazaar market at 30.75 lire. At the level of gram gold TL price again 30.80 29.80, we can see a fluctuating pricing in this band range. On the gram gold side, there is a need to follow the ounce 6 again holding gold. As I have often stated in the last month, in every video, I am talking about our long-term goal, that is, for 2025. I explained this to the public at the level of 4,500 lire per gram of gold and $3,500 per ounce on the gold side, and therefore continue to hold your assets. If you don't need cash. For example, should I exchange the gold I have and buy a car? Should I buy a house? This is something about your personal need, something about your personal preference. Everything that is said to the person does not fit the age of the person, the average income, the expectation There are dozens of items, dozens of rankings. So I have gold. Can I sell this and buy a car? So who are you? How many? How old are you? What is your sober income? What is your sober income? What do I have a house? Do you have passive income? How many children do you have? What is your family income? Etc., etc., etc. You can write all of the unknown questions like a prescription. After that, it is necessary to answer, or to give a classic answer to a classic question. Well, I have gold. Yes, gold is high. Okay, should I buy a house? A TL-based decline in house prices. I don't expect it. Yes, you should, but you can't use a clear term because you don't know who you are. Everyone's income, everyone's standards change here. Well, should I buy a car? I personally do not buy a car on the vehicle side. Those who know me closely and follow my video closely know very well that I am not a car enthusiast guy. I have the situation to get the zero of all of them, thank God H. But I see it as the most useless thing in the world. I see buying a car as the most useless, most ridiculous thing in the world. I think so. This is my opinion. So for there's a wheel, there's nothing else. There is no comfort in the luxury. You 280, you're going to be 82. What is the difference between us? And what does comfort do? Comfort massage me. The thing he is doing is that he goes to the car, he has massage chairs. He is not useful to himself, those seats or something. So the insurance you pay monthly, so your car for example, to a car of 10 million. You can ride, there is no problem. There are many friends, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million cars, okay, but let the 300, 500,000 vehicles passing by come and crash it, get well soon. I mean, I'm not very keen on the vehicle side, especially I'm not very keen on second-hand vehicle prices. The exchange rate in zero vehicles. So look, I don't expect it to decrease due to the exchange rate, zero. There are ridiculous figures in vehicles, but second-hand vehicles, does the price decrease, depending on where you look at it? What do you think compared to? The answer to all of these separately. But I have a vehicle in my house to buy a luxury car. I want a lady in a vehicle. She wants a child in a vehicle. She wants a child. I mean, think about our friends who are in her head. I mean, where is this world going? In other words, the wars started. Before these wars started, the leaders of the countries were constantly talking about the 3 world wars. Did the 3rd World War start? Yes, it started. Did these doors open? Yes, it was opened. Will the process continue for the next 6 years? Yes, it will continue. Where are the world economies going? They are not going to a good place. Will it be worse? Yes, it will be worse. It will be better. That's what populism is like. That's what politics is like. It depends on how you look at it. That's why I've been telling you all the time in December, for the last 2 weeks. For the past 2 weeks, my motto has been, I'm preparing you for December, the perfect storm, especially America when you feel the economic crisis that I call the perfect storm after the elections are over. You will all see that these days are nothing. Time will show us. Those who do not die will see them. So when making a choice, yes, I mean, human beings are always tested with their souls. It happens, human beings are always better. They want more expensive. They can ask for everything they see. After all, their ego is tested. It is not an easy thing, but I think we need to make a logical decision. Now for interest. You went to the stock market. Our friends who have been following me closely since last year know very well. Look, since last year, I said that they are throwing barley in front of you like chicken. You eat, you eat, you eat. When you raise your head, you find yourself in the coop. Then they lock the door. You can't make any moves. On the interest side, on the foreign exchange side, KKM. On the side of the stock market, we have seen the same process. Everyone with their preferences. When you say something 10 times, that word is worthless. You will say it once, you will step aside. Now that process is back. When I look at the calculation, this is where financial literacy comes into play. So little more people's education comes into play here. So a very important thing is that education should be done. There is only one thing. He will take a 5-minute break, you know, he will put his foot on the ground when he sees the 60% interest rates. It is a questioning as to why they throw this ice cream at me or something. Then I will take a look at how much is the grand price of gold that day, how much is the grand price of silver, how much is the exchange rate, how much is the exchange rate, how much is the return compared to silver, compared to gold, compared to foreign exchange now. I won or lost. If he made this calculation, he would know what interest means. I am a person who is sensitive to interest. This is my personal preference. It does not bind anyone until this age. I didn't use a credit card, God forbid. Don't use it, God willing. This is my personal preference. In my own life, I am self. It is something related to my own faith, but you are up to the bottom. You can use dozens of credit cards. You can get interest from dozens of banks. A friend of mine wrote a message last week. Brother, I have never been sensitive to interest rates because I have interest sensitivity. I'm not infected, okay, but I'm not very strict. Nowadays he says, he is being tested with his soul in terms of return. For example, I am sure that Jesus has not been infected until today. Maybe God Almighty will tell him from now on. It will not give the opportunity. I hope it will not be contagious. So it is about personal preference. He did this, he did this, he did this, he did that. It does not bind us. Everyone's life. There's a thing called science. You will look at the calculation structure, how much I earned and how many months I came from where to where I came from. How much we have seen these we know. So I can't go into too much detail. I have gone into a lot of detail. Different topics arise from time to time. It causes different reactions to the work. I don't go into too much detail, but you are wrong about the account. Look at the silver side for the last month. For the last month, the following videos one by one. Please review gold cheap silver free, see silver free. I use the phrase silver free maybe 5 times 6 times in the last month. And when we look at the return of silver, especially on the ratio side compared to gold, More around 2.5% more net, everything is in the middle. For example, the return on gram gold is 48%. Okay, how much is the return on the gram price of silver? 53%. It was at the level of 2275 lyre, 35 lyre. We have seen over what kind of SL area did we have about this year. We had this year's champion silver and gram gold. Dethroned the numbers, so 2275.10 started the year at the level of 35 pounds. We have seen over gram gold started the year at the level of 2050 lira at the moment, 358 buys and 3075 sells. So from here, you can do your account and protect your assets, especially those with paper money disease or cash at the point of interest, who is sensitive or very interested in this side. They also call cash money. When we say cash, we say gold and silver. So this is what cash is in our lives, but most of them. When people think of cash, they think of dollars or euros, friends. So apart from the money printed by the central banks, the money of these companies is as much as they want. They can mint endlessly at any time. Gold and silver are finite assets, and they keep stockpiling like crazy in their own stocks. If you look at company money as your own money, it is a means of payment. A means of commerce is a piece of paper. So what does cash mean? I think again, do some more research. Cash is yours. It's not as you say. So on the gold and silver side, the barrel price of Brent oil completed the week with an increase of 1.54% at the level of $72. Hikes come in Bitcoin. There was resistance at 64,500, and there was a psychological train level at the $6,581 level at a 64% premium. But as I've often stated in my other videos, it's September after the end of the year. We have 3 months ahead of us, because I continue to wait for the $80,000 level of the yen. Markets are currently in the Middle East, focused on Israel. The attacks continue unabated in the regional war that started, and that day especially Hamas started such a conflict between Israel and social media. X from my account and friends from my Instagram account are also witnesses. A process has begun in which you will see a lot of blood and tears. Now World War I posted a message there that day, that the doors of the city were searched. I have the same opinion. I see the same valid. Both the world economies are not going to a good place, and the world is not going to a good place. Take your guard, protect your property, protect your assets, spoil. Those who do not pay attention to the warning will look at the television like this, how much raise they will give, how much support they will give, etc. In need of someone else's mercy, their mouths are open. He will continue to look at television, but he will continue to look at the work, who will take care of his work, who will seriously evaluate the event, especially against future economic crises and geopolitical risks. Investors who are preparing do not have any problems, so we will be serious, and I am preparing you very well for December, and I will continue to prepare. Look at the assets we have. I've been telling you since last week that profit sales are coming, so the level we get is clear. We're watching it on the sidelines from now on. Now it's pal. We are not a person who goes with the psychology of ashes. We have all our assets in our basket. We are already TR. We are not in 3D, because there is no problem for us. Week up to week risen, 1 month rises. We don't care. We do such things very calmly. Relax. We take care of our business, because we have all our assets. We have positions. We have jobs. Those who panic, those who are afraid. According to the investors who do not manage their psychology well, they are not investors anyway. They are not innkeepers, and therefore you smart people. Look, because you are cold-blooded people. Look, I repeat, know the value of your property, your savings, your family, your work, everything. Fill the sack as it flows. That is, December. After the month you will see another world economy. Make your preparations accordingly. Dear friends, I wish you a good weekend. See you again on Monday. How do the markets start next week? Technically what levels we will be following, and especially on Sunday night at 12 on the night connecting Sunday to Monday. TV.com already have my weekly analysis reports in my columns. I share my column with you beforehand. When you get up in the morning, you read this place at night, so you take your guard up accordingly. Have a good weekend to you, your children, your family, wholeheartedly. I salute you.